mic stand giving up on me. Good evening, everyone. So many faces. Good to see y'all all. So thank y'all for joining us tonight in celebration of Juneteenth for Exceptional Measures, a Durham County Library Humanities event supported by our lovely Durham Library Foundation. The United States celebrates Independence Day on July 4th as the day the country was freed from the British. But it's painfully obvious not all people were freed in 1776, and true independence for our country had yet to be accomplished. Observed in various parts of the United States since 1865, Juneteenth is a holiday that celebrates the emancipation of African American slaves. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863, freedom for all enslaved people did not happen overnight, not over the next few months, not even over the next 2 years. The proclamation only applied to states that had seceded from the Union, leaving slavery untouched in the loyal border states. It also expressly excluded parts of the Confederacy that had already come under Northern control. And key to it all, the freedom it promised depended upon Union military victory. And let's be real, they didn't have Facebook, couldn't nobody tell them what was going on. So even with the Emancipation Proclamation, we were still not a nation of free people. It wasn't until over 2 years later in Texas, on June 19, 1865, that more than 250,000 enslaved people were notified they were free by executive decree. This is the day that became known as Juneteenth to the newly freed people, a combination of the words June and 19th. The next year, the people of Texas celebrated Juneteenth, their true Freedom Day. Since then, the fight for fairness, equity, safety, and equal freedom has continued at great cost to people's lives, families, and their humanity. Since that day in 1865, the celebration of Juneteenth has expanded across the United States and is celebrated in various communities in reverence, recognition, and honor of the day the enslaved people in Texas were told of their freedom. So tonight, in celebration and respect of this important holiday, we have brought you a stellar lineup of exceptional artists whose different art forms all have roots in African American and American culture and history. Not only are their art forms connected to the history, each artist in their everyday efforts expressly work toward bringing awareness of the connections and building this very community. Tonight, you will first hear the profound spoken word of Desana Hanu, a public speaker, organizer, curator, educator, poet, spoken word artist, and songwriter, and I didn't even list them all. He is the co-founder and managing director of Black Poetry Theater, based right here in Durham. He is a founding member and coach of Durham's own Bull City Slam team, with regional and national competitions under his belt. The list goes on, and I can't blink an eye without seeing another post of something he's working on. You can read his work in his publications, such as Shackled Freedom and Everything Worth Fighting For. Tonight, when you hear the metaphors and analogies of his work, it can be reckoned back to a time when enslaved people weren't allowed to speak, read, or write freely and communicated in coded metaphors, to when metaphors were used to communicate routes to freedom, or perhaps connected back to the speeches of civil rights leaders, such as Martin Luther King Jr., who used metaphors such as battered by the storms of persecution and invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. There are multiple connections between the history and spoken word, and I can't wait to hear what he has to share tonight. Following Desana, we will hear the exceptional country music of artist and 2022 Grammy nominee, Reese Palmer. In 2007, she released her self-titled debut album, becoming the first African-American woman to chart a country single since Donna Mason in 1987. That's a 30-year gap, y'all. She had performed across the country from the White House to the Grand Ole Opry to New York's Lincoln Center, and her accomplishments too are far too many to name. Most recently, she began her own show titled Color Me Country when she decided enough was enough and it was time for country music to know where it comes from. She brings to the forefront the Black, Indigenous, and Latinx history of country music that has for far too long been excluded from the spotlight and mainstream airways. An instrument such as the banjo, which for many of us is associated directly to country music, has its roots in traditional African instruments, and that's just one of many examples. The creation of country music is indebted to African and African American traditions, sounds, and instruments. Reese Palmer has made it her mission to work towards bringing this to light, and these contributions that have been made to the art form, and I feel lucky to be here for her performance tonight. Lastly, to wrap it all up, we'll experience the traditional African dance of Durham's own African American Dance Ensemble. With the mission to preserve and share the finest traditions of African and African American dance and music through research, education, and entertainment, the ensemble celebrates traditional African culture, aesthetics, and values as resources to encourage cross-cultural understanding. A valuable cultural resource in Durham, the African American Dance Ensemble works to make a difference in the community by using dance and music to bring awareness to the inequities in our community and through art create positive change. Their performance tonight provides a direct view in traditional dance and music that has influenced many art forms and forms of expression over time. So at this point, I've definitely talked too much. Wake back up, stop glazing over. It's time to see what we all really came to see, our exceptional artists. So I hope you enjoy and that you'll continue to explore the history behind Juneteenth and that you'll try to make a contribution in any way you can to be proactive in our community and not just talk about it. Enjoy your night.
They say burdened shoulders and dim asphalt comprise the first place that the city forgot. A place where Mama's God and Uncle Lester's Jim Beam make the pain easier to forget. A place where laughter dances under street lights, smile billboards the corner store, and hallelujahs fill the pews beneath stained glass. A place where heroes stand picturesque on the front of cardboard stapled to popsicle sticks. This place be underfunded, over-patrolled, and bastardized for the black and brown polymer used to weave resilience round here. But it cannot be beaten, bloodied, or bleached less than. It will not be demonized or stigmatized into disappearing. See, this place's beauty will never become foreign to our eyes. Its taste will never become bland to our tongues. Its smell will never become anything less than grease and freedom. The sound will be nothing less than a joyful noise. And its touch will always be a welcoming embrace home. My people, my people, my people, my people, Bull City, Durham, North Carolina, how are y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? That's the energy I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. My name is Asana Hanu, and for just a moment, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey here through some feelings, through some emotions, through some things. And I appreciate to have such a beautifully diverse audience here today, but I just want to let you know that we're going to go on a very black journey. I am a tall glass of Southern comfort, a poem off the tongue of a chaplift soothsayer with buck teeth chomping at the bit to tell you that ink spills like oil by the hand that put it there. Don't make your page an ocean and mine the congressman's daughter's trust fund when both pages are filled by the same crude inspiration. Do not paint my impact and my purpose is popular. It is legacy. It is a Roberta Flack vibrato and a Bob Dylan guitar riff, both soulful and socially relevant. You will not martyr your malcontent than Scottsboro 9, my significance pushing people to consider someone else's words and lock me in a category I cannot escape from. There is wisdom. In collard green concerto, seasoned with fat back discernment, cured in the southern sun, I feel uncomfortable around you sometimes. Like a cherry orchard in the middle of a landfill, right with the realization of how bad this world can be when so many want to claim responsibility, but so few want accountability. See, I am an origami slave ship, Ancestry force-folded into this imperialistic impetus where it makes sense to mess with people's lives but never bother to understand the impact of the damage caused. But you will not exoticize my craftsmanships. I want to let you know that we are all broken Macy's Christmas bowls, fractured fragments of foregone conclusion that every good thing comes to an end. And I want to pour you a bowl of cereal, fill it with milk like Elmer's glue so I can restore the innocent adhesive you used to have. And I want them to be Cheerios, so that those small puckers can kiss you comfortable in your own skin, so you don't have to battle your perception of what comes with mine. For too long, we have been living loud in silence, never speaking to the heart of me dying to meet you. I have wished for something more, but it seems this world will make us believe it's okay to mess each other over, but I don't want to be infected with malice. I don't want to believe there's something hidden inside of you against me like Trojan horses, so I find myself popping excuses like Oxycontin so I can temper my disgust and swallow my pride when the sun rises like morning after pills so I don't birth any conflict, but I've had enough. I have decided to let my poems fight. I have nicknamed my pen Emiliata Zapata because it's better to spit on your feet than live on your knees. I am a sycamore, with metaphors like strange fruit dangling from my tongue, the label around my neck, Southern black poet, like an albatross, but I grow wiser and I grow stronger, y'all. See, I am Lena Horne's Rasper Revolution. I am Josephine Baker's underappreciated brilliance. I am Dave Chappelle's radical refusal and Lauryn Hill's misunderstood insanity. See, I am the paintbrush of Ernie Barnes and the brilliance of Andre Leon Talley. I am Kanye's ego and Jay-Z's business acumen. I am Ginsberg's late night indulgences and Norman Rockwell's perfectly painted paradox. And I am here, and I am a poem, and I am just like you. Yes. That's what I needed right there. I was getting ready in the bathroom one morning, and I noticed something dangling, suspended to my left, a few inches above the toilet. My eyes focus, and immediately I tense up. It's a spider. Now my heartbeat quickens, and I start to get a little bit frantic, and I scan the room to figure out how to swiftly eradicate this threat. I settle on a moist paper towelette. It's encompassing clean. I can grab, squeeze, and throw it away with no remorse. It's perfect. Now, I do consider letting it be for a moment, wondering if we can cohabitate in this house without violence or disruption. I think of a family, you know, little cretins waiting for daddy to come home. Funny how it's always a daddy, like mama couldn't have spun as functional of a web, like mama couldn't have made this same trek with as much diligence and determination, but my patriarchal sense of compassion was shorter than an Animal Planet commercial break. It had to die. Now, I'm afraid of spiders. Have been since I was a child. If I see them in the house, they gotta go. If I see them in the car, either they gotta go or I gotta go. If it gets missing before I find it, the car gotta go. There are no other options. If I see a spider on the outside of my windshield, I wonder if I have to get out because I worry about sneak attack. Now, this fear means that the spider can never survive. It doesn't matter that I'm bigger. I've seen National Geographic. I've heard about spider bites. Hate running into webs. See them everywhere. Wonder, God, they gotta be there, you know, outside. There are no other options. I've seen Spider-Man. I know what contact with them can turn you into. Now, it's funny though, I only kill them in places that I am, places I claim authority over, places that belong to me. And I don't care what kind of spider it is. I don't need to know its background. I already know that there are dangerous spiders, and anyone that I see fits the description. Now, I don't normally look to kill things. Well, Maybe bugs that don't look like me or look like anyone that I love or care about. Those are other things, and I hate spiders the most. Some say there are things that they take care of for us that we don't like, but I don't care. They need to know to comply and stay away. I've never been bitten by a spider, never been attacked, even though I call it that when I run into its web, destroy its neighborhood, disrupt its work, its life. I've never seen a spider in a menacing pose just look scary, just look like danger. I've never seen it raise its legs, but it must be preparing to retaliate. I've never let it know I was there, but it has to know I am. I've never given it rights, just considered my survival right and just. Time is of the essence. I consider it a life of death situation. It didn't die on first squeeze, it's resisting. I didn't close the paper towel quick enough. It's running, fleeing is a violation. Lethal force is now necessary. I smashed it against the wall. I've made a mess. It's okay. There are more than enough ways to clean it up. Either I or someone else will do it. All I have to do is tell my side of the story. Nobody cares about any other. I mean, it's just a spider. Aren't there more than enough of them? Are there any good spiders anyway? I will say that it was a necessary kind of violence, that it should have complied and stayed away or complied and died quickly. I will say the threat was imminent, that it was hanging there about to cause problems or get into trouble. They would hear my report and call it following protocol. And someone somewhere was singing Itsy Bitsy Memorial. Young eyes will wonder if daddy's coming home. They will learn how vicious fear is when someone thinks that you are somewhere where you don't belong. It will leave an empty web in remembrance like chalk outline on asphalt. Now, one of the things I have to hold on to is that we are deserving of joy. The other thing that I can't not hold on to is how amazingly powerful and beautiful we are, and how an obstacle is nothing more than another opportunity for there to be a testimony of our resilience. And in the midst of all of the things that were happening as we have struggled through the last couple of years, I felt like that I needed to write a particular love letter to my people. And this is that. I do want to say that one of the things that I believe is so important is allowing space in your heart, your mind, and your soul for difference. We do not need to be homogenous. We do not need to be alike. We do not need to be in anyone's particular thought about a place. What we need to be is allowed to be who we are, to have our perspective, to have our experiences, to have our understandings, and to have those respected. In that also means to not run from people's trauma, from people's pain and angst, because it is valid. It needs to be understood, and in understanding, what we will find is a better capacity to grow. And while we may be different, if we are all growing together, then what we will ultimately be able to create will provide the very, very ground where the seeds of understanding, liberation, solidarity, and togetherness can flourish, blossom, and create a brand new field of thought. In that, I say, don't run from anything in this poem. Don't hide. Because I promise you, there's a very real place that it comes from. And if you look left and right, you will see the truth of it in the eyes of those that I know that you care about, call friend, neighbor, or coworker. To my people of ash and soot, we know fire. Lit match to gunpowder turned kin to kindling, ritual burial to residue for resistance. The rest were bundled on cargo ships, and those who knew how combustible colonization was sought the water as refuge. Those who made it were stacked in fields like wood in the living room of white supremacy, overseers like chimney sweeps, making sure the notes sung never reached the heavens or sent signals to those in the mountains that knew how to read the message along the skyline we know burning. Devils ain't never cared what they poured kerosene on as long as they got to see the flames lit match the body, Molotov cocktail the house, bomb the building. What else can you say about those who set fire to crosses in front of the blessed like they were trying to sear away the truth that melanin was crucified for their sins? We know ash and soot can script prophecy in the smoke, see the deadening as the promise of renewal. Know we got a covenant with the earth, and it will always help us turn desolation into ceremony. We just got to give our incandescent dreams back to the mother who helped inspire them. Sit at her feet as she teaches us to cook a phoenix from scraps and lay spread new hope like Resurrection Sunday. Because ain't we the ones who found glory in a clearing and turned that into a church? Then everywhere we are is a sanctuary, every breath is a gospel. We get so dressed up on Easter because the ongoing will to rebuild deserves celebration is coded affirmation. Them spirituals taught us how to get through. This pageantry tells us how to get on. Just think about the black and gray we dress our beloved in to send them gone home. Don't it seem so fitting for us? I wonder why the church house smelt smoldering, why the wailing sounded like sirens, why each shed tear, held hand, and I love you seems so necessary. Soil got to be treated for a new blossoming, and we know what it is to work fields around here, know what it is to call magic out of the dark, to make something out of nothing, to build from brimstone. Y'all, they still mad, they made us build this America, and we didn't pyramid their empire in appropriate astronomy, so now they shooting stars trying to understand the resilience of the night sky. They think they can win with fire. But ain't no blaze that can take away our importance, can take away our brilliance. Ain't no blaze that can remove our impact, our gifts, our courage, our creativity. We are still going to survive. We are still going to love and laugh, cry and know happiness. We will find, hold, and claim our joy. We are going to dance with the same legs that crumble in misery and find success in the same madness that they revel in. We are going to create family and survival manuals. We are not afraid of the blaze. We are not worried about the smoke. We know what we are capable of. We have seen the dark. And what we can guarantee is that we beautiful, charred Genesis chapter 1, verse 2 will consistently come through with the light. I'm going to get out of your way. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting this, for supporting the library. Continue to support these places, these institutions, because they provide such a valuable service. I've had the pleasure of being able to get around and kind of connect with some of the folks who work with teen services and a few of the libraries, and we have these places in our community that are necessary. So before I go, I just want to take just a minute and a half to just make sure that at the midst of all these poems that you are real sure about who it is up here on this stage. And I give grace to my family, my mother, and my father for bringing this black body into this world. And I also give thanks, some of them I'm pretty sure out there in the audience, to my community for helping me to understand what this black body means and what this gift can do. I am Von Doris's and Bethola's blessing, product of below the Mason-Dixon line in the south side of the city. Hold true to the fact that we are everything that we need. See, I was shaped by black exceptionalism, influenced by working class idealism, and raised by a black woman's resolve. I stand for great speeches, beat drops in my date's arrival. Recognize that the thumping inside of your heart is just a reminder that there is so much more work to do. See, I am the well-mannered example that wrote his way dangerous, a fashionable laborer intended to show you how to work all these hats I wear better. I am part sweet potato pie and pearl handle 38, part moonshine and the brilliance of a pastor in a Sunday sermon. I am a gallon jug of kerosene daring you to light the match. See, I'm smart enough to rebel, but so beautifully rebellious to I can convince you to accept it. I am a mother's prayer. I am the product of Big Mama's work to make sure that her blessing can see another day. And I am the steps towards a tomorrow that I know will one day happen and will allow us to truly say that we won. Thank you.
How you doing, Durham? I am very, very happy to be playing in my backyard today, so this is nice. Thank you to the library for having me, and this is Charles Newkirk. And we're just gonna play some songs for y'all today. I was trying to figure out what to play for such an event as this, and I decided that I'm gonna tell y'all who I am, what I believe, and where I'm from. And so this first song was my very first single. It came out in 2008, and it was about being not necessarily fitting the mold, but being exactly on point. And one of the things that I love about being a black woman is that we as a people are not a monolith. We're a lot of things, and we fit a lot of boxes and don't fit at the same time. And that's okay. And we do it with style. And so that's what this song was about. And I think that's why it resonated. And so this is called Country Girl. not how I talk. It's a pride you feel that makes you walk. And come Sunday morning, palms up in praise. It's all about my mama and how I was raised. It's a state of mind, no matter where you're from. And living like your grandmother. 'Cause good home training ain't a common thing. If this is who you are, let me hear you sing. Hey, hey, you don't have to be a Georgia peach from Savannah Beach to say it. From Arkansas to appreciate a southern drawl. Don't need no kid from West Virginia to have it in ya. Show the world you're a country girl. Oh, yeah. See, I'm the kind of girl that says it with a smile. Oh, yeah. That's sweet as molasses down home style. See what you might call real corn-fed. Oh yeah, I'm a country girl born and bred. It's a state of mind, no matter where you're from. Yeah, living like your grandma done. Oh, 'cause good home training ain't a common thing. No, if this is who you are, let me hear you sing. Hey, hey, you don't have to be a Georgia peach from Savannah Beach to see, yeah, from Arkansas to appreciate a southern drawl. Don't need no kid from West Virginia to have it in ya. Show the world you're a country girl. Come on, Charles. All right, ladies. Y'all ready? Here we go. Ladies, if you understand, let me hear y'all clap your hands. If you hear me and you know you're bad, let me hear y'all clap your hands. Ladies, if you understand, let me hear y'all clap your hands. If you hear me and you know you're bad, all you country girls clap your hands. Hey! You don't have to be a Georgia peach from Savannah Beach to see, yeah, from Arkansas to appreciate a southern drawl. Don't need no kid from West Virginia to have it in ya. Show the world you're a country girl, yeah. Well, if you wanna be a Georgia peach from Savannah Beach to say, yeah, from Arkansas, then sing it with a southern drawl. Don't need no kid from West Virginia to have it in ya. Show the world you're a country girl. Oh, shoot. Thanks, I kicked it over. All right, so this next time, thank you so much, by the way, for participating in the middle of the song. I appreciate it. This next song is What I Believe. So I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and in 2014, the world watched Ferguson, Missouri rise up after the murder of Michael Brown. And I have lots of friends, people that I grew up with, people that I went to high school with, that I work with, that live in Ferguson. And it was a pretty helpless feeling to see that on the news and not know exactly what to do or what to say, and to understand the frustration that they were feeling about St. Louis and what was going on, what goes on in St. Louis all the time that the news doesn't necessarily always catch. And I don't know, I feel like as an artist, you have a responsibility. Not everybody heeds the call, but there is a responsibility, I feel, to add something to the discourse, to use your platform to say something. And so I decided the night that they decided not to indict the officer, to use my platform to talk about that frustration and maybe find some positivity. And so I found a quote, and the quote was, "They tried to cut us down, but they didn't know that we were seeds." And I love that. And I felt that deeply in my heart and in my soul. And so I wrote this song, and I believe that we are seeds, y'all. And we each have an opportunity to choose the type of seed that we want to be in our community, in our places where we are. We can choose to be seeds for harmony. We could choose to be seeds of grace, of empathy, of action, or we can choose to be seeds of chaos. It's entirely up to you, and you have an opportunity every day to choose. And so that's what this song is about. This is called Seeds. Brothers and sisters, don't believe what you've been sold. They can bury your body, but never touch your soul. They built you a prison, locked up your mind, made you think you're nothing, and filled your head with lies. Can't act too free, act too proud, shine too bright, speak too loud. But when they come to cut you down, that's when you gotta stand your ground. When they bury our dreams, we push them up through concrete. We're growing where they can't see. These roots run deep, 'cause we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall can block us. No hate can't stop love. We are seeds. Hey, I said we are seeds. Oh yeah. Listen, mothers and fathers, ancestors of this earth, bring your strength and wisdom. Teach your children what they're worth. 'Cause armed with truth and mercy, they won't fall to anyone. They're standing on our shoulders, reaching for the sun. When they bury our dreams, we push them up through concrete. We're growing where they can't see. These roots run deep, 'cause we are seeds. When we rise up, no weapon can stop us. No wall can block us. No one can stop love. I said we are seeds. Hey, I said we are seeds. Hey, I said the battle is now, and we are the army. I said the battle is now, we are the army. Said the battle is now, we are the army. Said the battle is now, it's now, Thank you so much. Thank you. I realized that I didn't introduce I'm Reese Palmer, by the way. Thank you so much. And this is our last song. So I told you who I am. I told you what I believe. And now I'm going to take you back to where I'm from. And where I am from is the church. And I grew up singing in church. And I grew up Baptist and Catholic. Yes. I am guilty and judgmental all at once. But but my faith was very important to me growing up and factors a lot into the messages that I try to write. I try to keep things positive. I try to keep things uplifting because I think that's important. I think we need that, especially right now. There is so much crazy in the world. And that, again, it's one of the things that I love about being Black is that that's such an important thing to us. And it's something that keeps us uplifted, whether you are religious or spiritual. It's what got us through. It's what got our ancestors through. It's what's going to get us through, is that belief that we're going to overcome and that we are going to make it. We're going to be, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, we're going to be all right. And so I wrote this song. This is the title track from my last album. Again, thank you so much to the library for having me out tonight. Happy Juneteenth. And this is called Revival. So here we go. And you can clap if you want to. Trapped in darkness, waiting for the light, cold and heartless, there's something ain't right, no more empathy for dance and shine. We need a revival, Lord. We need a revival. We need a revival. We need a revival. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a wonderful night. I'm Reese Palmer. This is Charles Newkirk. Y'all have a good night.
Banga alafia, ashe, ashe. Banga alafia, ashe, ashe. Banga alafia, ashe, ashe. Welcome you, Banga alafia, ashe,
Yes, now we can, yes, now we see our village. Hello, everyone. Yes, so welcome, welcome. So I just want to quickly state that we are members of the African American Dance Ensemble, and today we're here to do a sharing. We know that we're celebrating Juneteenth, and so we know all the history behind it, but look how far we've come. We still have a ways to go, but we've made it yet this far. And so for this, we are going to celebrate. So I need everybody to get their groove shoes on, their groove shoulders on, their groove head on. We're going to have some fun. So if you have on a mask, I should see a little wrinkle in the mask where a smile is taking place up under there. And before we go into our celebration dance, which is called Manjani, in honor of Dr. Chuck Davis, who was our founding director that has gone on, I need you to look to the person to your right, to your left, and behind you. If it's someone beside you that you don't know, introduce yourself to at least 2 people, okay? It shouldn't be quiet in here. Thank you. Thank you. So when we leave, we got a whole village of family members that we're gonna know. If you have to get up and go across the aisle, that's fine too, okay? Yes, all right, all right. We ready, y'all. Now it's the village. Now we got our bantaba together. Woo!
Dimitri.
But you also have your head coming back and forth, all right? All right, so we're going to put it together, all right? Oh, wait, let me tell you this now. Yes, it is. So everybody was paying attention, right? Because at the end, when we go from right to left to the middle, then we got to put everybody together. Aha! That's the celebration part, okay? One more time, so everybody pay attention to break.
I told you I got it there. You don't want him. I can't find this no more. We're watching you, Dimitri.